Hey, happy Tuesday. Welcome to Talk Tuesday. If you've been here before, welcome back. If it's your first time, Talk Tuesday is our weekly segment where we go over tips to help you enhance your finances. Today, we're going to talk about budgeting basics. If you're tuning in, definitely comment. Let me know you're here. Let me know, where you're tuning in from because I can't see. I can see how many people are here, but I can't see who's here. So don't be shy. Let me know you're here with me. Um, yeah. Oh, so to tell you a little about me, in case we have anybody new on here, I'm Coach D, budget coach, and I help high achieving women reach and exceed their financial goals while still enjoying life in the process. Hey, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being here. Hey, from Los Angeles, thank you for tuning in. Oh, all right. So if you're just coming in, definitely let me know you're in here. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Hey, I got Georgia in here. Hello. Thank you for tuning in. All right, so today we're going to just talk about budgeting basics. So let's just get to the basics. It's the beginning of the year. We should be trying to start fresh, get back on track. If we did fall off, if we were already rolling, to just keep that momentum going and go for more success. Pennsylvania, hey. All right, so if you've been here before, you know how I do it. We come in, we get the tips, and you're going. I don't keep you here all day. We're going to get to it, and then that's it. If you haven't been here, we've been going live since every week since January of last year. So there's plenty of replays you can go watch, plenty of different topics we've covered. So after this live, of course, go back and check some other ones out. So let's get into it. What exactly is a budget? And while I'm going over this, definitely let me know in the comments, do you have a budget? So what is a budget? A budget is a financial plan. It is a financial plan, but it should be a strategic plan. It shouldn't be a plan that's like, well, I got the budget so that I don't, run out of money all the time. No, your budget should be your plan so that you can actually, do what you're trying to do with your money more than just running out of money. How about I want to do such and such? I want to do, hey, more PA in the house, more PA in the house. Yes, absolutely on the budgets. All right. I love to hear that. So your budget should be to help you get to those goals, right? So for starters, you need to have those goals. What is your goal for your finances? A lot of times we want to get out of our debt, but outside of getting rid of our debt, what else do we want to do? Do we want to buy our home? Do we want to get married? Do we want to go on a vacation every year? Maybe we want to go on 2 vacations every year. What is that thing we want to do? Do we want to build up our retirement money so that we can retire early, or build it up so that we can retire comfortably? Like, what is your plan? So it's important to have your plan together, know what you want to do. So that can definitely be the motivation to push you to get to where you're trying to go to. So having the budget is awesome, but not having a purpose for it, not having something to push you will definitely, cause you to not stick to it because it's like, oh, what am I doing this for? This is boring. Every 2 weeks or every month, how often you check it, hopefully more than every month. If you're in my group, we're checking it more than every month. But you want to check it enough so that you can catch something that's wrong. If maybe you made more income, which is awesome all the time, but if you made less, if something happened, maybe something came out of your check that wasn't expected, or maybe one of your bills went up higher than it normally is, or just anything can happen, and there's always changes. Like right now, it's the beginning of the year, so a lot of people's premiums went up. Like, I don't know about you, but my insurance that comes out of my paycheck increased. My union dues increased. What else increased? Like a lot of stuff increased, and it's like it's almost seems like every time you get a raise, they get a raise. So it's very important to check that stuff, look at that stuff, see what you have going on, because a lot of times we know what we make, right? We know how much we make an hour, but we don't know how much we actually bring home. It's important to know exactly what you have going on so you know what you can do. So if you don't know, I bring home $2,000 every pay. Well, if I'm thinking I bring home 2,500 because I know how much I make an hour, I'm not considering everything that comes out. I'm thinking I'm doing a little bit better than I am as far as bring home. I'm not considering the things that are coming out. I'm doing good, what I'm making, but what I'm, receiving is not as much. So, hey, thank you for tuning in. So not knowing, exactly what you have going on will actually be a downfall for your budget because you can't plan accordingly. So maybe you're thinking you're bringing home a certain amount, but then your expenses are higher than that amount, and not knowing exactly what you're bringing home will, prevent you from making it work. So you might be like, every time I get paid, I'm paying my bills, but I keep running out of money. It's always something I can't pay. Something that has to wait till my next payday. That could be because you're not really understanding that maybe, what you bring home is not enough to cover that. And that happens. That's a part of life. Sometimes we just don't make enough. And then we can't sit in that too, because sometimes I'll be like, well, I'm doing the best I can, and and we need to do the best we can. But if we have to do a little something extra to make extra money to kind of get us out of that area, to get us, like, maybe we have to pay one thing off to get back to comfortable, then that's what we have to do. So look at your numbers and maybe doing a little side job, or something that you might like doing just for a little bit to help you just to get out of that. Maybe you have one credit card that's, that monthly bill of $50 is just what's really setting you over the edge. Look, get something part-time for just a little bit and have a goal and purpose to pay that thing off. Not a goal and purpose so that we're getting this extra money, so now I'm living it up, I'm doing extra stuff. No, do what you have to do with that extra money first. Pay that stuff off so that maybe that extra money could be for savings, or you can just stop working that job. So it's very important. So that's number one. Number two, well, I kind of went into it. The purpose of the budget is to really just to help you to, get to your goals. We want to reach our goals. We don't want to work every day. We don't want to, work so hard. You go to work. Sometimes some people love their jobs, some people don't, but at the end of the day, we don't want to go to our job to work all these hours to get paid to not be able to do anything that we want to do. And that's another thing that's important for our budget. Your budget should include these things because you deserve these things. So you need to make room for these things, so not the type of person to, oh, well, I want to do this. I want to do this. So I go do this. And then now let me see how much money I have left to pay my bills. No, find the balance because you definitely need to enjoy yourself, but you definitely need to, keep things rolling. So you're not getting extra bills, extra expenses that are kind of like throwing you off and stuff like that. Because you want to continue to do that. And you don't want to get into so much debt that you're paying all this interest. You never get out of it, because in the back of our mind, we need to always think and consider when we retire, that Social Security or that pension, if we're blessed enough to get a pension, that is all we have. That's all we can live off of. We can't, get extra money unless we work, and we don't want to work at that older age. We don't want to be the person that's working in our 70s. Maybe if we're bored, we want something to do, but not because we have to, not because, I know when I see people that are older that are working, it breaks my heart, because I'm just like, gosh, I don't want to be that person that has to work at that age, and I'm still, struggling. I'm barely walking. My feet hurt. I should be home relaxing. I should be with my family, with my kids, my grandkids, but then you got to work. And then it's like a cycle, because sometimes, people, they don't set their money up right. So it's important that if you're watching this, that you set your money up right for yourself, for your kids, your family, teach them so they know what to do, so that they're able to, do things better, so that, maybe you have a senior in your family that's working, that has to work, and you can't even help them out because you have to worry about yourself. You have to kind of get yourself together. Well, now that, we're talking about budgeting, create yourself a budget so you can get on track, get yourself straight, so you can help that person out. You know what I mean? So it gets here in me, but it just hurts. It just hurts to see people who have to work, at an older age, instead of being able to enjoy those years of their life, so it's sad. Oh, great idea. I'm sorry. I kept on talking, so I don't even know what I was talking about when you said that. Hey, thank you for tuning in. But yes, let's see. Then I have, all right, so we talked about what is a budget, what is the purpose. Now we're going to talk about how to create an effective budget. So we're not going to be like, long drawn out. I'm just going to go to the basics of it, because this live is what? Budgeting basics. So just the basics of it. Your budget is simply a plan of your income and your expenses. So first you need to figure out your income. See all the income you have. Look at your pay stubs. You know what I mean? See what's actually going into your bank account. If you have things that are, let's see, sometimes we have money that goes into one bank account, money that goes into another bank account. So think about what you have with those. What are the purpose of that? So sometimes maybe you have something going over here for savings. If you save every paycheck and that's what I'm doing, then don't count that money, because that is savings, right? So or you can put it in your budget and just mark it off that money is going to savings as well. So depending on what kind of budget you have, because we'll get into that another live, but there are many types of budgets, and that's another thing that's important, to have the budget that's best for you. But just as far as the basics, just knowing what is your income. What am I receiving? Now, if your income is something that fluctuates, maybe you don't get the same amount every pay. You might get maybe 40 hours one week, 35 hours another week, 45 hours another week. So for a situation like that, I would definitely highly suggest that you do your budget and count for the income that you receive for the 35, which is the smallest amount that you will receive. That way you are able to sustain if you do get that smaller amount. Don't be the person that sets your budget for the 45 hours and then you get the 40 hours or the 35. And then it's like, what in the world am I going to do? What am I going to do? I got less money, So set your budget for the smaller amount. That way, if you have extra, then you can do extra. So just be prepared for the worst. You know what I mean? Not the worst, but you know what I mean? Be prepared for the smaller amount. And then what you would do also, after we know exactly how much we get, we're paid bi-weekly. Are we paid weekly? Are we paid monthly? That's important to know that also, so we know how to fluctuate our budget. Then now after we know our income, now let's go over to our expenses. Now that we know, what we have, now let's see, what am I paying out? Look at, what are your bills? All your bills that are coming in the house. Now, a lot of people want to send you your statements in your email. So check your emails, see what you have coming in. Sometimes we have bills that we forget about. Don't forget bills that are coming out quarterly. Sometimes we don't think about those. Oh, I got a bill, I forgot about that. Or the ones that are coming out automatically. And if you just can't think of all of your bills, look at your statements. Look at your credit card statements, because some people, and if I'm talking to you, I'm talking to you. But, sometimes we have bills that come out automatically on our credit card statement, which is really not cool, because what? Then that means we're paying interest on that bill immediately for that item, unless we're paying it off in full, which I'll say, okay, that's good. But, see what all of your expenses are. Now you can look, search your bank statements, your credit card statements, what's going on. So now you know what you make, and what your expenses are. Now you got to see where they balance out. If you have more income, then that is awesome and amazing. And then what you can do now is figure out what you're going to do with that difference. Are you going to put it towards, paying something extra down? Put it towards savings. Put it towards going out and doing some extra stuff you've been wanting to do. If you have less, then what you would have to do now is figure out, what am I going to do? Do I have to then cut back on some expenses, or do I have to go get that side job we just talked about earlier, to make a little extra to kind of make it work? Because staying in that place of having more expenses than you have income will never get you back on track, because you'll always be in a state of struggle because you can't catch it back up. How are you going to catch it up? You'll never, ever get caught up, and you'll actually keep going further and further back, because you're using this money to pay for maybe this check, and then you got to keep rolling it forward, and it gets to a depressed state, and it gets you stressed, and don't even get yourself there. So new year, we want to start fresh. We want to do all the things we're supposed to do. So figure that out, and then once you have that, write it down, check it. Every time you get paid, you wrote down all your expenses. Now mark off, I paid this, I paid this, I paid this. So before we go, I just don't want to give you, the basics, and then it's not all the way helpful. So yes, your income, your expenses, but make sure you're marking it off, right? So that we can think about those things that maybe I'm paying something, and like we talked about earlier, it could be a different price. So now it messes us up. It's not what we thought it was. So then you know how to make adjustments. So maybe my bill was $50 higher than it was. Well, maybe I have to cut back $50 somewhere else so that I can make sure that my month balances out. So those were my tips for today. Hope it was helpful for everyone. If you don't have a budget, create a budget. I'm thinking about doing a little mini class on budgeting, or maybe like a little couple of sessions of it with small intimate groups. So if that's something you would be interested in, definitely let me know in the comments. So as I'm torn between doing it with budgeting or with debt elimination. So you can let me know which one you think, you would be more interested in, so I know which one to kind of lean towards. But I want to make sure, that I'm doing stuff that's helping people get to their goals, reach their goals, understand what they're doing, not just to understand it for now, but to understand it so they can move forward and be successful. That's my whole goal, for people to be successful and to truly help them enhance their finances. So if you are tuning in, We're live every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Enhancing Your Finances. Go subscribe. Help me to get to my first 1,000 debt elimination. All right. Debt elimination. Oh, that was awesome. Thank you. I'm so glad the live was awesome. I really tried my hardest to make it something interesting, something that you can learn from, something that's not boring, something that's, keeps you in the conversation with me. Sorry, I'm late. Yes, please watch the replay. We went over some cool tips. But again, I don't keep you guys long. Have an amazing rest of your week. If you're in PA, wherever you're at, be careful with the weather. We had a lot of snow today. So before I got on live, I was out there scraping those windows to get home. So anyway, have a great evening, great rest of your day, great week, all that. Happy budgeting. For tonight, I will assign you all a task of setting a financial goal if you haven't already set one. And I'll see you next week. Yes, stay warm. Thank you. And I'll see you all next week. Same place, same time, 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. If you're watching the replay, definitely